and welcome to the Business Breakdown. I am Gilayrin Magsayo, and for today we are diving into an essential topic for entrepreneurs and business enthusiasts: cost volume profit analysis or CVP analysis. Now, before we start yawning, ay sumugkatulog sila paminaw sa mo. Trust me, this is the secret sauce behind making more money. Kasi hindi ka more money, di ba kitang tanan? And also making fewer mistakes in the business. To make this exciting, I've invited guests who knows how to bring boring stationaries into something people would rave about. Sa mga gusto nila, sa mga artistic diha, he's the owner of Casey's All-In Designs, a business that specializes in customizable notebooks, sticky notes, refrigerators, magnets, souvenir products. So please join me welcoming the creative mastermind, KJ Canilla.
Hi! So excited to be here. We knew Stationery to be this glamorous.
Yeah, so exactly. I've known you for like 7 years, more than that. So wala siya ako na-imagine yung mga bukani na business because, di ba, you're not into artistic side. So tell me how you start making this kind of business and what inspired you to do this kind of business?
Well, actually, it started with a gift. So I was not really expecting, because as what you said, I'm not really an artistic kind of person. So yeah, but it was just more of like a leap of faith, you know. I just started to like customize design for notebooks to my friends, and then they said they loved it. The finished product, they loved it, and then they asked, like, you should be able to like do it like in a business, you know, like you should be paid for doing this because like it's a thing, you know. So yeah, and then it started, and then it became this business. Yeah.
So tell me something about that gift. How did you realize that you gusto na gift? Kung siya mas na-like na yung mga customize some stuffs?
It's actually like a Christmas gift. So like I was like, okay, go ahead. Like I was really indifferent at first, and then but you know we have to give gifts for Christmas. So that's a need. So anyway, like I just created. Like, I was thinking, what gift should I give to this person that would make it very unique, at the same time very unique, very customized. And then I realized, yeah, maybe I should make designs and notebooks and stuff. And then I realized, oh, I'm pretty good at this. And then when I presented that gift, she liked it. And so she asked me, you should, yeah, that's how the business started. So yeah, and then the rest is history. Yeah.
So how did you make it? Like, just in your house, you just collected some stuff, then you make the customized notebook that you give them to your friends?
Oh yeah, I got some stationery. I had not, like it did not came into my mind like I should be doing stationery business and all that. So it was just very random. I just really wanted to give gifts. So yeah, I just put some together, and then yeah, it's just really random, like nothing serious at first. And then yeah, it was like a discovery at that moment. Yeah, maybe I'm really good at this. Maybe I should make this like my brand. I should make this like a business.
So we did tackle about your inspiration and doing the business. So we tackle about the numbers. So what is your planning tool in making this business? I'd say inspiration is planning tool.
Yeah, the starting process is the most difficult one. Like taking the first step is the very difficult one. But it so happens I am a business student, and I kind of like know this planning stuff back in college. Then again, yeah, aside from that, there are a lot of things to consider. But when it comes to planning, I remember having this topic in college, which I find really useful, and at the same time, it's something that I'm really good at. It's cost volume profit analysis. I think it's the easiest way. There are a lot of planning tools, but I think this is more universal. So yeah. So if you're familiar with CVP, I could really discuss it too. Yes.
Thank you to Sir Dean.
Yeah, I think yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So can we break down the type of costs you deal with your business, like the fixed cost, the variable cost, or what are we looking at?
When it comes to CVP, I think the most important part of it is actually distinguishing
Yeah.
cost behaviors. So the most important, I think, for me, when you try to plan things using CVP is fixed cost. So I think that's the first thing that I think came to my mind. Like that's the first thing that I wish to distinguish first before the variable. The variable cost depends on like a cost driver. So yeah. So of course, my fixed cost would be office rental, of course, and then printers, and then maybe some, I think, software subscriptions. So they come in like they are fixed every month. So they don't usually like change behavior or change costs in a relevant range. So like it's just fixed, like it's just stay there. And then variable costs are mostly the things that I use in trying to design, making notebooks, making stationery designs. So usually stationaries, booths. It depends on what the customer likes per customization. So the tricky part of this is how much can you put into a certain product that will not like exceed what you planned. So yeah, that's just that. Like I think the variable costs are, well, they could be really the cheapest cost when it comes to like individuality, but it's also like the cost that has, like you have to take into consideration a lot of things.
It still costs, you know.
Yeah, it still costs, yeah. So you have to, yeah, because it depends on the cost drivers. It depends on how your customer would like to have their own design. But after all, it should be like based on customer specifications. So, yeah.
So, di ba, in businesses, we have, while meaning about fixed costs, variable costs, cost drivers, all the costs. So, how tricky it is to price a customized product?
It is very tricky. As what I said earlier, like the variable costs is the trickiest one because like the fixed costs, they're always there. Like you can just allocate it based on how many you produce. But the variable cost is the trickiest one because you have to like create a more accurate estimate of how much materials you can put in like a certain customized product. After all, this is a customized product, so it has to be within customer specification. Hindi natin alam if that like certain product that I try to do is something like if that customer is maximalist or minimalist. So if it's maximalist, then I had to like put a lot of things in there. That means a lot of cost, and it could like create more. That I have to add some like I think profit margin to it, and then go with the pricing. So the more variable cost it has, because it has a direct effect. Like it has mostly the direct effect on pricing. So the more, like if my customer is a maximalist kind of customer, then I have to like charge her a higher price because that depends on the variable cost. Like depends on how much materials I put into the product or those things.
So I know this question, my next question is quite bit confidential. But I'm gonna ask right now, okay, Christmas, kay Koan ka ng upcoming on Christmas. So for that kind of business, especially sa mga side of mga notebooks, ang pinaka-uso pa is planners for 2025. Right? Can I ask, let's range lang, if I'm gonna order or purchase 50 planners to you, pila man dyan ang imo ang cost na ginana siya. Bali labat yung mga ginan siya.
It depends if, like for example, if you want to order something like 50 planners, that's what you said.
It depends on your specifications. Because after all, this is a customized
Product. Unlike homogeneous products, where it's uniform all the way through, this is like a customized product. So it depends. If you're a maximalist person, I might have to charge you higher For example, like for one notebook or one planner, it would actually cost maybe 400 to 500. So it depends. 500, 400, or 350 might be the lowest. Then again, yeah, but that's already with the profit margin.
Ah.
But it depends on that range. It could like go out of that range if you wish it to be more, be more. Like if you want it to be like there's a lot going on in the design. Yeah, again, if it's a customized one, like kind of like a job order costing kind of thing, it really depends on customer specification.
Also, how do you handle difference between fixed and variable costs in your decision making?
Well, as an accounting student, it's very kind of like a normal knowledge. Like it's an inherent knowledge to me. I've studied for years, and God knows how much effort I put into that. Anyway, yeah. So for me, for someone like a business student like you and me, it's pretty easy to distinguish a variable and a fixed cost. As I've said, you just distinguish them according to behavior.
Yeah.
But then again, there are some business people because business is for everybody. There is always room for everybody, right? So if you're not like a business student or you're not really inclined with how business works, how cost works, how planning management works, well, it has to be like you have to create something that would make it very easy for them to understand and to distinguish. So here's my take. Variable cost is the ones that are like the drama queens in school.
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones who are like changing. The ones who are like it depends on how the trend ends and it's how it is. So like if it's Christmas and they're gonna wear Christmas things. And then and the fixed costs are those who are very stagnant. The quiet keeps it.
The nonchalant.
The nonchalant, yeah. So like whatever happens, like even if seasons changes, they just stay the same.
Yeah.
Like for example, if you're this kind of student who has like a uniform style all year throughout, I think you should be a fixed cost because like you're just the same all year round. So yeah, that's just that. It makes the distinguishing thing very easy if you try to animate things. Like of course. So yeah.
So let's talk about the volume now. Customization sounds unpredictable, right? How do you forecast demand, especially with big bulk of orders or seasonal trends coming into the play?
Well, as this is a job order cost what is it here. So demand could be really tricky unlike like basic needs product. So like the demand is always there. Like for example, rice. But these are non-essential things. So seasonal trends really come in very handy when planning for sales and volume. So you have to be really ready when the season comes. Like you have to boost up your production without trying to compensate for storage loss or storage costs. Because you have like EOQ or something. So you have to like order the right amount depending on the season. For example, if it's Christmas, so there's a lot of gift giving, it's the year end, it's a year end planners and all that. So yeah, it's like a lot of people would have bulky orders because like these planners could be giveaways at the same time. So like in stores they could like offer that for something. Yeah, that's the tradition. And then like I think mostly if you keep an eye on seasonal trends, I think you're good to go because that's the key to planning for volume and product specification products.
Have you experimented to the pricing kung pakita niyo mo if how it affects to the products?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I tried going into like the product differentiation direction because after it's like like a job. I use job order costing in this, so I don't go through the product differentiation direction. That's how iPhone is doing their product. Like, they have like high prices because of the quality. Like they are the number one in the market right now because of the quality of the product they produce. And somehow some people would still, like, I think most people would still patronize the product. It's not because of the cost, but because of the quality. So I'm trying to incorporate that into this. So I try to like have luxury prices for the stationery I sell. But then it didn't work because again you have to consider a lot of things, and which is like just after all it's just an open stationery, and you don't need, like, people wouldn't want to like people would just spend like a lot of money for that because after all it should like be close to basic need, because again like a lot of people are going to school, so you can offer an office stationery as well. Yeah, I actually tried to do that, experimented on that, and it didn't work, so I scrapped the idea. I stayed on the cost leadership way by trying to make it as affordable as possible, but being able to have a favorable profit margin on me as well. So yeah, I think it's always like the balance of that, because but again, it's really important that you experiment because you will never know what happens. Like, you have to try all other options, and if it doesn't work, then go back to the other option or try another one. So I think that's what makes the business very tricky, because it always involves risks.
Do you have minimum volume target for your cost to be covered?
Absolutely. Actually, this is the main point of CVP. This is the main point of the planning stage, I guess. Like, you try to estimate all the costs that you have in a year, especially when you're starting it. It's all estimates. It's not like you don't have any basis from the last year because you're still starting it. So, a lot of things to consider, and then I use CVP to plan it. I compute break-even sales, the sales where I do not have any profit at all. So, so I have to hit that number, because if I don't, I'll be eating noodles for the whole week, or maybe. Yeah, but if I do hit that number, well, it's luxury dining, I guess. Anyway, but I think it's really, really important that you have like a clear goal in everything that you do, because especially in business, because again it involves risk, and you have to mitigate risk with proper planning. So I think it's very, very important. I think all of the business should have like maybe a benchmark, and I think this should be the sales for this month in order to make profit. If I don't hit that, it's very, very important, and I think we should have like a benchmark number of sales in order to target that income.
Since we are done talking or tackling about costs, so let's go to profitability in a sec. So how do you calculate your break-even point?
Unfortunately, for non-business people out there, it's actually all math, so you can't skip that though. So again, I'm very lucky because I had this when I was in college, so it came pretty easy for me. But for those who do not, I think you should have maybe tutorials on YouTube or something, because this is math. Business is math, and you have to really get into it if you want it to be a successful businessman in the future. Anyway, so it's all math. There's no shortcuts, I guess. But again, it's really important, as what we talked earlier. It's really important to be able to distinguish cost behaviors in order to do that. That's the first step, actually. Then when you hit when you hit that break-even sales, you have to plan for how to increase your profit margin. So bottom line of it all it's all math. So there's no like if you hate math, you have to love math, darling.
Yeah, you have to love the bird, to love money. Yeah. Once you reach your break-even point, what's your game plan to maximize profit? Is it selling more or focusing on the higher margin items?
Well, at first, when you reach your break-even point, I think the first step that you do is actually to exceed the volume, so bulk or orders or something. And then after that, maybe if you're satisfied with that, I think you should try to maximize on profit selling items. Like for example, try to like this is how when joint products and byproducts came into like existence because like in stationaries there are a lot of scrap materials that could still be useful and you know you can still sell that for like yeah maybe minimum price but it's still an additional margin to your profit. So yeah I think in conclusion I think it's both but I think you should first exceed your volume needs before you go into selling the market because the byproducts or like the small things that you sell to maximize your profit are they could be less costly but also they could contribute less profit.
Yeah.
But when you go to like try to prioritizing your main products that's when like you'll be able to have a greater profit margin because that's your main source. So yeah, I think it's pretty much both.
Have you ever had a tough decision using CVP analysis, like dropping a product or launching the product?
Yes, definitely. It's part of running a business. You know, you try to as much as possible innovate, like try to exceed people's expectation, and even your expectation of yourself. So yeah, so this would like trying to introduce a new product would come in because you try to innovate, you try to like rebrand, you try to expand. So yeah, but then again, a lot of things don't work. Like as much as some things are working, there are some things that don't work. Like, for example, I tried to make customized erasers and sell them, but then again, I realized it's not gonna be working because people wouldn't like spend a lot of money for something they would just run out of. So yeah, CVP analysis really saved me from doing like having mess like for you know going down because like again it's all about really the planning, you know. Like if you're satisfied with your break even sales that you have and you think that that could be exceeded, then that's the time when you jump into like launching a new product. But then again, if it's not working, then well, at least you can stick back to like the original product that you offer. You know? So yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is the most important use of planning for business because you'll be able to see what's coming for maybe like if this product can work or is it not going to work or yeah. So you'll be able to mitigate a lot of losses. You'll be able to like avoid those things because you planned it thoroughly.
I know having a business is really not easy. So especially sa imo, you've been juggling work and then business at the same time. So what is one advice that you can give to our all entrepreneurs out there?
Yeah, this should make sense anyway. If you want to go into business venture, you have to love numbers because like numbers is like your compass. If you're going to ignore it, you end up nowhere. You end up in the middle of nowhere without like any direction or something, you know. But the numbers is your compass here. It is your guide. So you have to base down numbers. Even though like there's some like there will be qualitative factors. I mean, when it comes to running a business, you have to consider all of those. But then again, basically, you have to love numbers. Like if you're not loving numbers and then you're running a business, then well, you know, like it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work very greatly in your advantage. So yeah, even though it's really hard, like you know, you have this impression of not loving numbers because it's maths and it's like, you know, very difficult. Like it's in school. Like even though I'm not really a fan of numbers before. And yeah, but then again, you have to learn all of these things in order to emerge successful in life. Sometimes you have to like really put your mind into something. You know, like loving numbers. It's not all that bad actually. Like once you get the hang out of it, it's really fulfilling. You know, like me myself, you know, I don't really love numbers. Then again, when I was able to like get the hang of it, trying to learn all of these things, like it's sometimes, aside from being a manager, business manager, it also like it's very satisfying to like, you know, be able to like exceed your numbers or be able to get the numbers correctly, right? So yeah, don't be afraid of numbers. If you want to be an entrepreneur, do not be afraid of numbers because basically they are your GPS system. They are your compass.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't want to be lost in the middle of nowhere when you've already spent this cost in the business. Like you don't want to have this to be just sunk cost. It has to work. It has to be able to, you know, give birth to profit. So yeah, a prerequisite, just love numbers. Or better yet, hire an accountant, and that will cost you a lot of money as well.
It will cost you a lot of money,
Yeah,
for
other
sure.
costs. It will like lessen your profit
Yeah.
margin, and you won't want that. Yeah, so pretty much everything is all about numbers. Just love them.
Yeah, so, oh my God, thank you for the insightful words of wisdom, insightful things that you've said right now. And it so happened that it's really hard to do business and, you know, working, but you did it really well.
Thank you.
So,
My
thank
pleasure.
you for accepting the invitation for this podcast. And I wanted also to share to everyone na all businesses, as you said, numbers, math, pero like he said, it's not that hard if you keep the hang of it, right?
Yeah.
But it's really tricky and stressful.
Yeah, of course. Like all of these successful businesses, they're so say mathematicians.
Yeah.
To begin with. So yeah, they're not dumb. So, do not be dumb.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. I really had a good time.
Thank you.
And it's my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Wise words and perfect note on the end. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful speech. Wow. And to our listeners, I hope you have enjoyed this episode as much as I have. So stay tuned for our next episode on business strategies that you can't afford to miss. So until then, keep hustling and keep loving.